up guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you a full body workout that can be completed using only one dumbbell. I'm going to start the workout off by showing you a set of compound lifts, and then I'm going to move on to a set of accessory lifts. Each exercise is going to have two options. For the compound lifts, you can choose whichever option you like best, and then for the accessory lifts, there's going to be one option for if you only have access to a light dumbbell, and then a second option for if you have access to a heavier dumbbell. Altogether, this workout is going to hit every single major muscle group in the body. So let's get started. To start off with our compound exercises, these are going to be our chest exercises for this workout. This first one is called the dumbbell pullover. For this exercise, you only need access to a bench or a chair or any surface that will really allow you to execute this movement. Basically, we're going to lift the dumbbell up and over our head while trying to activate our chest as much as possible. You're going to try to keep the elbows as straight as possible, but not too straight towards the end of the lift as you see me doing here. We don't want to have so much pressure on the elbows because that can lead to discomfort and possibly even injury. And another thing is that it would be wise to be careful when you're lifting this dumbbell around your head, neck, or chest area. Exercise is really good for targeting the chest in general, and there's also another variation that will hit the back, which I will mention later on in this workout. So our second chest exercise is called the standing press. For this exercise, it doesn't only target the chest, but it also involves the frontal deltoids in our shoulders. To do this exercise, we're going to try to press this weight up at as close to a 45-degree angle as we can get. Throughout the entire movement, we should be trying to activate the muscle fibers in our chest, and this should be the main source of force throughout this entire exercise. As you're lifting the dumbbell up, try to be explosive with your movement, and on the way down, try to lower it slowly and controlled while contracting the chest throughout the entire exercise. So we're continuing on our compound exercises with our leg exercises. This first one is called the goblet squat. For this exercise, you're going to want to keep your feet at about hip width or even slightly wider than hip width apart based on what is more comfortable to you. You're going to want to hold the dumbbell out in front of your body and position it as if you're holding a goblet or a cup. The main source of force for this exercise is going to be coming out of our quads, hamstrings, and glutes, but mainly focused on our quads. This exercise is meant to mimic the front squat, which we would normally execute with a barbell, but this is a very good alternative if you do not have access to that type of equipment. So for our second leg exercise of this workout, I'm going to be showing you the dumbbell lunge. Instead of holding the dumbbell vertically as we did with the goblet squat, we're going to turn the dumbbell horizontally while positioning our hands on either end of the dumbbell. Try to align the weight of the dumbbell with your center of gravity as closely as possible, and just take one big step out forwards and lower yourself down slowly, and then push back upwards, back to standing position. You're going to want to repeat this with both legs, and one rep is not one single leg. Think of one rep as taking one step with either leg. So our last set of compound exercises is for our back. This first one is called the one-arm dumbbell row. So we're going to position ourselves over a bench or a chair, or anything that you can really use in order to properly get into this position. So we're going to keep our knee up on the bench of the same side of the body that we are rowing with, and the other leg is flat on the floor. The hand that we are not rowing with is placed flat on the bench, and the other arm is being extended all the way down and then pulled all the way up, trying to activate our lats on this exercise, and there's a slight involvement from our biceps as well. Our second back exercise is the pullover, and it is very similar to the way that we did pullovers for our chest, but for this variation we're going to try to bend our elbows throughout the entire exercise more so than we did with chest. This way it will activate our lats as a pulling exercise rather than our chest as a pushing exercise. You're going to want to keep your form at about the same as you would as if you were doing a chest pullover, but you're going to want to think of contracting the muscles in your lats as opposed to the muscles in your chest throughout this movement. Start off our accessory lifts. I'm going to show you our bicep exercises. This one is known as the waiter curl, and this will be our heavy dumbbell option. For For this exercise, you're going to want to place both of your hands underneath one end of the dumbbell, lower it down as far as you comfortably can, and then use your biceps to lift the dumbbell up until you feel a full contraction in your biceps. Try to keep the dumbbell as vertically as you can throughout this lift so you can prevent from any other muscle groups such as the forearms or the anterior deltoids from taking over the lift. So for our light dumbbell option for our bicep exercise, this is the isolation curl. So what you do for this exercise is sit down on a bench or a chair and position one arm on your knee, and then the other arm, which you will be curling with, will be placed on the inside of your thigh. You're going to want to lower the dumbbell as far as you possibly can, but don't extend your arm out so that it is straight. As you're lifting the dumbbell up, try to rotate your pinky towards your knee as to activate the bicep more throughout this entire lift. So to continue with our accessory lifts, I'm going to show you our tricep exercises. This is our heavy dumbbell option, and it is known as the overhead extension. For this exercise, you're going to want to sit down on a bench or a chair. Then you're going to take your dumbbell and lift it up and extend it over your head. When you're doing this lift, as you're lowering the dumbbell, try to get your forearms about parallel with the ground and then extend them back upwards. Try to use a weight that you know is manageable for you and not one that is going to be too heavy, because in this position it can possibly be dangerous if you're overloading the triceps a little too much. So for our light dumbbell option for our tricep exercise, this is called the dumbbell kickback. To do this exercise, you're going to want to get into a position similar as to what you did for the one-arm dumbbell row, except instead of having the foot on the side that you are exercising up on the bench, you're going to have it positioned so it's flat on the ground with the opposite foot elevated on the bench. This exercise only focuses on the extension phase of the lift, and this is the part of the lift that is going to be activating our triceps the most, so it is ideal to try to use a lower weight. To finish off this full body workout, here are our shoulder exercises. This first one is our heavy dumbbell option, and it is called the front raise. Normally people would do this exercise with 2 dumbbells, one in each hand, but this variation is one that requires you to only have 1 dumbbell. This exercise's main target is the anterior deltoids, but it also has some involvement from the lateral deltoids as well. To properly do this exercise, you should start off in a form that's very similar to as if you're about to do a standing press. As you are doing this exercise, the main source of power will be coming from our shoulders. So we should be trying to think about contracting those instead of our chest or back, because those can also tend to take control if we're using a weight that is a little too heavy. For the light dumbbell option for our shoulder exercise, this is the lateral raise. The target for this exercise is the lateral deltoid, or the middle of our shoulders, so that's where most of this force should come. Try to keep your arm as straight as possible, but with a slight bend in your elbow, as to not put too much pressure on your rotator cuff muscles. If it helps, you should lean slightly into the direction that you are lifting in, because this will ensure that your lateral deltoids are doing most of the work and will take some of the pressure and stress off of your rotator cuff, which is very important to protect. This exercise is one of the best exercises for getting wider shoulders and having a better overall upper body physique. Guys, so there are the exercises for this full body workout. When you're starting out with your compound exercises, I recommend 3 to 4 sets per exercise. With your accessory lifts, I recommend 2 to 3 sets per exercise. The number of sets that you do is mainly based off of 2 factors. The first being the level of experience that you have, the second being your general preference. The number of reps that you should be doing for each exercise will be based off of whether or not it felt easy for you or whether or not it felt difficult for you. If it felt easy for you at first, then I recommend 8 to 12 reps per set. If it felt difficult for you, I recommend 3 to 6 reps per set. When you're doing this workout, and if you're on the level where you're just starting out, I recommend that you only pick one of the exercises per muscle group for your entire workout. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.